think that's the $24 question that all of us as parents, we all want our children to come home. Fortunately for me, two of mine did return home, and I've got one that stays with me a couple of days a week, so that's pretty good. I think, you know, we've got to offer something here that, you know, a quality of life that they're not going to be able to get in a lot of the big cities. I know when they're young, they like the excitement of living in the city and living in the condo uptown and taking the light rail to the ball game. And I don't, you know, I was that way at that age too. But as you begin to have families, you want to have an environment where they can grow up and secure neighborhoods in a church area where they feel comfortable, that they can have a good education, which we do here in Iredell, one of the best in the state, where there are opportunities for jobs and they don't have to worry about going to distances away. So I really believe it's the quality of life issue, having parks for them to play in, things for them to do. Maybe it sounds simple, but it really is something that a lot of communities are desiring, and we'd like to go back to this. And so that's my feeling, that, you know, it's something we can do by just improving our quality of life.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
People move away for better opportunities, so typically better employment opportunities. So really the key for that, specifically, how do you keep the kids from moving away, is you gotta have employment centers and industry for them to work in locally, where they can make a good wage and that they would want to stay here. And tonight, some people have made some comments as if we're not trying our hardest to attract industry here. I'm going to tell you what, we give as much as we can give trying to get industry here, short of giving them blank checks. We just can't do that. And I've also heard them say, oh, we ought to use some creative financing to try to attract industries. Enron did creative financing. We saw what happened to them. So the short answer is we've got to attract industry. The long view is just exactly what Commissioner Williams talked about, which is if you have a good school system, if you have a good quality of life, 10 or 15 years from now, as the baby boomers retire and the labor pool starts to shrink and the healthcare industry starts to demand a greater percentage of the available workers in that labor pool, then employers are going to locate in the communities, not that have the biggest giveaway incentive programs, they're going to locate where people want to work, where people want to live, I'm sorry. And that's why it's so important that we have a top-notch education system and that we really guard our quality of life now, because we're not going to be able to fix those things on short notice 10 years from now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Howard?
Thank you. I guess to start out, government, I'll start this out two ways. Government's role is not to be involved in private business, but what I would do here is work to attract the industry and attract the jobs, because it comes down to education and employment. Education and employment create a quality of life. And Iredell County holds my roots. This is my home. I've grown up here. We've been here for generations, and it's a beautiful, wonderful place to live. And I hope that future generations enjoy it the same.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
It falls back to what I said earlier. With your support, if elected, my main focus in this county as a commissioner would be to think every time I make a decision, how does it affect ordinary people? I will be one of your people that's part of your checks and balances. I work for you. You're trusting in me to make tough decisions and make sure we're at the table. We have to be proactive, not reactive. We have to work with our and whether it's in a region, we have to communicate and work with our chambers of commerce, our schools, our businesses, Mitchell College. We have to be at the table as a community. We have to unite and stop pointing the finger at each other, saying he's the problem or she's the problem. We need to come up with solutions, not people to blame. If elected, that's what I'll bring to the table, is we've got to be able to do the public's business in front of the public. And with your support, I will do that. I think if we do that, continue our schools, continue to make this community united, stop blaming each other. It's easy to do that. Start coming up with solutions. It's not easy to stand up here and run for this office. I'm sure there's a lot more qualified people maybe out there that don't want to go through what we go through. We as a community have to stop living in the past. Our adversities will prepare us for our next challenges in life. And as a commissioner, with your trust, I'll serve you in that capacity and always be honest with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cato?
You're going to start to think I'm being disagreeable, but you know, you ask how we can do something to keep our kids here in Iredell County, and I again have to kind of disagree with the basic premise of your question. I mean, we just spent the better part of 2 hours talking about how every sensible person from Mexico to Mecklenburg wants to move to Iredell County, and there's good reasons for that. Ken mentioned the agriculture. I think Brad mentioned our commerce. I think I picked up on the fact that we got a top 10 school system. We got hard-working people. We got low unemployment. I moved to Iredell County 4 years ago. I would have to tell you that if my daughter grows up and doesn't want to move to Iredell County, I think I need to talk to my daughter some more and maybe give her some more schooling, because I don't think Iredell County is a problem. I think we're doing things pretty right. I'm pretty proud of Iredell County.
Lieutenant